Sunday, March 24th, 7 a.m. Mountain Time, 2019. Guys, a couple of weeks ago I did a video report about a cyclone I noticed forming very rapidly off the coast of Africa, in between Madagascar and Southeast Africa. Coincidentally, it was in the area where there was recently a mysterious planet-wide rumble that they're now determining was caused by an underwater volcanic eruption, and it was the largest underwater volcanic eruption ever recorded. I remember when that event occurred, they first thought it was an earthquake. It was in the area of Mayotte, which is in the area of this cyclone. In fact, this cyclone formed not too far from this underwater volcano. I don't know if it's still erupting or not, but I remember when that eruption, at first I thought it was an earthquake. It was like a 5.5, but it was felt all over the globe. Seismographs picked up that energy back in November of 2018. But either way, this storm formed very, very quickly, as you can see here on Zoom Earth. I'm going back in time to March 9th. We'll step it back to March 8th. It wasn't very organized on March 8th, but that's the area of Mayotte where that underwater volcano is. By March 9th, we've got a full-fledged cyclone here. I think it was a Cat 3 at the time. We'll step it ahead to March 10th, March 11th, March 12th. It's getting ready to make impact, and it is moving to the south, unfortunately, right over that densely populated area. It goes over the area, makes impact as a Cat 3, then it goes into reverse and goes back out to sea. So it kind of impacted the area twice. First as a Category 3, then as a tropical depression. Either way, it dropped a ton of rain in that area. Right now, there are tens of thousands of people in that area that need assistance. They're still trying to recover from the floodwaters as it hasn't receded yet from this storm. Record rains, damaged crops. They certainly weren't prepared for this. There were no storm drains in this area, so the water just piled up very high. I don't know exactly how much rain was involved with this storm, but quite a bit, considering the storm went over the area twice. Like I said, once as a mature cyclone, and then it backed up and went over the area as a tropical depression. But that was a very strong storm. I was hoping it would stay north, but unfortunately it did not, and it went right into this very densely populated area. So they are needing help in Southeast Africa right now as I do this video, and they are in the process of getting the UN involved to get people out there to help that very large community that was impacted by that very strong cyclone about 10 days ago. Like I said, it went over it once and then went back over it again. Speaking of cyclones and record rain, we talked about the two cyclones that were going to impact Australia at nearly the same time. This is Veronica over here on the western side of Australia. Trevor already made landfall rather quickly in the northeastern part of Australia. And these are the remnants of Trevor. What we're looking at are rainfall totals from both of these cyclones. Trevor didn't bring a whole lot of moisture with it. In fact, once it entered the Gulf of Carpentaria, it actually made two landfalls in Australia. It didn't bring as much as it was originally forecasted to. It didn't re-strengthen to a Category 4. I think it made landfall as a Cat 1. This one, however, is definitely a different cyclone. We talked about the energy transferring from Trevor over here to Veronica, and it kind of looks like maybe that's what the case may be. They're looking at record rainfall along the west coast of Australia. This is a 24-hour period going on right now as I do this video. 29.3 inches in a 24-hour period from this cyclone, as it's going to basically stall along the coast. So there's going to be tremendous flooding in Western Australia today and tonight, and it's already occurring near Karratha and Port Hedland, right in this area here, and that is a populated area. So big heads up, guys. If you're in that area, you don't need me to tell you that it's raining very hard from Tropical Cyclone Veronica that's making landfall right now as I do this video. And here's a close-up look at Veronica as it's stalled along the coast of Western Australia. Approaching, it was a Cat 4, reduced to a Cat 3. Now it's Category 2. And then in 24 hours, it will be a Category 1. So it's going to be in this location for a long time, or at least long for a cyclone That's why we're going to see these astronomical rain totals. Next, I want to go up here to the coast of Norway, where there's been an event that involved a cruise ship, a Norwegian cruise ship that was making several stops. These cruise ships, in fact, let me take you to Cruise Ship Tracker. I think this is the ship right here. It's inland now. It's a Viking Sky ship. It was not even out to sea. It was right along the coast, and a big storm came up. And you can see right here at windy.com, these are the current sea swells right now as I do this video. 13 feet in some areas along the coast of Norway, 12 feet. At the time this occurred yesterday, some of these swells were in the area of 20 to 26 feet. And you can see why, as there was a big giant cyclonic system that was going through the area, creating conditions that were not conducive for any type of marine vessels, as sea swells were quite large. This ship was along the coast. It wasn't like it was out at sea. The weather turned bad, and the ship started rocking back and forth to a point where it wasn't safe for the passengers, and the passengers had to evacuate, or they were evacuated via helicopter. There was 1,300 people, and you can see the ship is not very far from the coast. There's some of the waves and high winds from that low pressure system. Just an unbelievable scene, and there's more video going around of the ship swaying back and forth, and furniture and different things falling from the ceiling of the ship. People trying to stand up to maintain their balance, trying to sit down. They didn't know what to do because they had nowhere to go. And the ship is tilting back and forth by probably 30, 40 feet in some cases. Just an unbelievable scene. And this happens every once in a while. It's kind of rare because these ships are equipped with the finest navigating software available, so they're not going to venture out into rough seas with over 1,000 people on board that they're responsible for. So they generally take exceptionally good care of their passengers. This was just one of those events where a storm system came up, and it came up very quickly as the ship was fairly close to the shore. It wasn't like it was out in the waters meandering around in high winds and high waves. That was not the case. So people have been rescued from that ship, and they are on shore now via helicopter. They could only take so many at a time, so it was a long process. And in fact, I've read somewhere where it's still underway. I'll post a video down below in the description box where you can see the ship tilting back and forth from these high waves. Those oceans are very, very strong and always win. No matter how big the ship is, doesn't matter. Those waves, water is very, very strong. You'll see here in this video how it just threw that ship around like it was a bathtub toy. So anyway, things are improving. They're getting the people to shore. They may already all be at the coast right now as I do this video. I want to share some pictures sent in by Becky from San Francisco, Nick S. from Tucson, Arizona. Big sun halo, always like those. Got some sort of a triangle craft in the sky above Amsterdam. And then this one here, this is a photo optical illusion. This is a cloud back here that was also taken by Becky from San Francisco. She noticed this is the moon, and the cloud looks exactly like a tree up in the sky off in the distance. In fact, it looks more like a tree than the tree itself you see here in the foreground. So that was an incredible observation by Becky to notice that. Looks like a giant tree in the sky. So thank you, Becky. Thank you, everybody, for sharing. I greatly appreciate it. You guys are on the ball, wide awake, and keep the cameras rolling. I always enjoy all of your photographs, and it takes a while to get to some of them. So if you don't see your photograph up right away, just know I'm working on it, and I will get to them sooner than later. Thanks for watching, guys. Have a super day, and be safe out there.